Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your match reaction for Manchester United 3, Crystal Palace 0. Really good professional performance by Manchester United. Job done. I was going to say 3 points in the bag, but on to the next round of the Carabao Cup. The holders, happy days. So we're going to get into it. A couple of talking points. As always, smash a like on the video, hit subscribe, get into the chat, get your comments down below, all the usual stuff. And we've got the usual trio in with us. We got Chris, Ben, and Oshin. How we doing, guys?
All good.
All good. Happy days. Good performance. Happy out.
Yeah.
Winning clean sheet. It's all good.
All good. All good. Happy days. Well, look, let's jump straight into it. First talking point I have more than anything else was goals scored, which is good. You know what I mean? And obviously, goals have been at a premium for United over the last couple of years. But now, look, I'm not getting carried away. It's one bloody game. You know what I mean? But I like what I saw. Oshin, you've missed the last few, so I'll go to you first. Happy with what you saw?
Yeah, 3 different scorers. 2 of our forwards scoring. The only slightly, well, it's not a concerning thing, but you mentioned it. You touched it yourself in the live watch along. Casemiro being our leading goal scorer this year isn't it? Now I know Highland didn't join us till late, given a back injury, that could all change. But you would think with the caliber of player that we have on the back of Rashford's year last year, he shouldn't be our leading goal scorer at this point in the season.
Yeah.
But I'll take it. At least someone is scoring, you know, and it's good. It's good to get. It's good to get the clean sheet as much as to get the goals, because Onana could do with a bit of a boost as well after the last, maybe not the last performance, maybe the performance before that against Munich. He could do with a boost, so it's good to get that as well.
Yeah, happy days. Chris, what did you make of it?
Good energy. I mean, I like the energy. I mean, again, we're playing with a hodgepodge of players playing. You know, Amrabat playing left back. You know, we don't have our full team, and we haven't had our full team, you know, all season so far. So I kind of put that on, and you know, I don't like that Casemiro is our leading scorer, but I also look at it as, I mean, Rashford played every game last season. I mean, I think he need. I mean, I'll be honest. I think he needed a break. I needed a rest a little bit, maybe recharge, refresh. You know, watch what other people can do, and you know that always helps. You know the run that Garnacho made on the goal. I mean, those are the kind of goals that we need to score. You know, to the end line, coming across, making the doing that. You know, making those kind of plays, because before it's always out wide and then we're trying to come in. So I like the energy. I like what Hannibal brings. I like what Garnacho and Palestri bring. I like the energy there. You know, Martial played well. I mean, it is what it is, you know, until he gets hurt. You know, we all know that. But then the other part is, you know, like I mentioned in the chat, is it's great that, you know, Mount played well and everything like that, but how do we fit together when everybody's back?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because Mount looked good. He receives the ball, he turns, he carries it forward, he makes the plays. But I mean, I still have my reservations. Can Mount and Bruno play together at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll go to you on it then, Ben, in relation to Mount, because I have a point here, you know, wrote down. Obviously, Mount is back. Where do you see him playing, or where would you like to see him play? Because obviously, Chris makes a good point about him and Bruno being so similar. You know, is it going to be a case where you have to push him out onto the right-hand side to accommodate?
I'd play him on the right. I'd play him on the right, just for the fact is then Bruno's not going out there.
Yeah.
And then we've got Palestri, who played well tonight. He can be the backup. He's a young lad. He's not going to play every game, is he? So there's options there.
Yeah. And it's also giving you maybe a bit of creativity in different areas of the pitch as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, look, I was happy with Mount coming back tonight. I have to say, I think he played well. He was involved in at least one of the goals in the first half anyway. But while we're on the kind of midfield topic, I want to talk about Casemiro, and I want to talk about Amrabat alongside him as well, because especially in the second half, we seen, you know, obviously Amrabat went into midfield. Oshin, like, I think it was nearly instant. You could see Casemiro kind of nearly having the freedom that he needs to have to go and play his game when he has someone like Amrabat around him. And he's not, like I said in the watch along, he's not listening out for a safety whistle. You know what I mean? So I presume it's going to be Erik ten Hag playing the two of them together as much as he possibly can.
It has to be, doesn't it? I mean, that's idiot proof. There has to be those two, barring injuries and suspensions. I mean, we said it last year. Fred looked a better player beside Casemiro season. Again, he wasn't waiting for the safety whistle. I think McTominay, look, his passion is great. It's admirable. He's not a United standard player. He should have gone in the summer. We just couldn't get him out the door for whatever reason. That's no fault of his. We'll support him whenever he plays, but he's a liability and he's going to hurt us, and he has hurt us in the past. But we'll get behind him, Getting back to the point about Casemiro looked a different player tonight than what he has at the start of the season. Again, I think it's because he had that cover there. He wasn't left exposed like he was when he had Bruno and Mount just not helping him tracking back. And I think that will help Casemiro's game. People were saying he was done, he was leggy. He was covering midfield on his own. He had no one there. That's all going to change in the next few games now that Amrabat's there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I mean, I think that it's going to be interesting formations, and I don't know how it's not going to be your traditional 4-4-2, but at the same time, it's going to be interesting because can Casemiro be that number 8 instead of being the number 6 now that we need, and that forces. I mean, because here's the question: Hannibal plays well. Can Bruno play where Hannibal's been playing and Mount play out on the right? And does that afford that Rashford slides forward a little bit more on the left and everything like that? And do we play a diamond up top or something like that? Because it's because of the cover that Amrabat and Casemiro can do together at that point. It's going to be interesting to see the how everything fits.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you why you're mentioning it, Chris, because I think, especially tonight, I think the energy levels of some of the youngsters, especially the likes of Hannibal beside a Casemiro, he's just bucket loads of energy, run, looking for the ball all the time, full of confidence. That surely is going to have a positive impact on Casemiro's game also.
100%. And I mean, we all support Bruno and everything like that, but I think Bruno needs to take a hard look in the mirror and watch the game tonight and look at what Hannibal's doing. Look what Mount does, because when Mount gets the ball, it's not a flick or a one-touch ball here, and you get the ball, you turn, you move the ball, and you possess it. To be honest with you, the lineup we had tonight is more reminiscent of what Ten Hag wants to do in Ten Hag ball with possession than, with Bruno fitting in or anything like that. So, I mean, not that it scares me, because you always want your captain on the field, but, he's got to have to take a look at it and go, okay, this is how we're going to play. All right, I got to be all in on this one, and how he's going to fit, because the question is, I mean, you can't have Bruno, Mount, Hannibal, Casemiro, and Amrabat. That's 5 guys. I mean, so does Bruno take the spot of Hannibal, and he's got to show? I mean, because we all know Bruno runs. It's not about that, but absolutely. It's about can he play that Hannibal role where he's all about everywhere,
Yeah, so, it's a good headache to have. But I go to you, Ben, like in relation to that, because now we're seeing probably a lot of players, especially in the midfield area, that can play similar roles and similar positions. Do you think Erik ten Hag is probably going to prioritize certain competitions over other ones, or is he going to maybe go like we've seen last season and just go as strong as he can for as many as he can?
I think he will go strong now, because we've got cover, haven't we? How many games did we miss Casemiro last season? And we were all annoyed. But now we've got Amrabat. He can fill in. If Casemiro goes out for 3 weeks, we've got Amrabat. It's not ideal, but he's there, isn't it? It's cover.
Yeah, and I suppose it's a lot more positive when you're seeing some of the younger players put in good performances as well.
Yeah, same as Rashford tonight on the bench. I hope you were watching that game as well.
Exactly.
You know, his eyes have got to be open now.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
got to be on it.
I do have a point noted down here, and I go to you on this one, Oisin, in relation to I literally have down serious dilemma, question mark, Garnacho or Rashford, because we've seen tonight some really, really good work rate more than anything else out with Garnacho that you tend not to get with Rashford. Is there a real dilemma there, or is Ten Hag going to stick with Rashford, do you think?
If Garnacho at the start of the year had put in more consistent performances, when Garnacho started, he didn't have the impact that he had.
Yeah.
That said, when Rashford was up front, he was lost and kept drifting to the left. So was that hampering Garnacho? Was he in his way? I put a note there up in the chat. Everything Chris was saying there, this comes back to that as well. There's 5 or 6 different formations that you mentioned there, Chris, and they're all great headaches to have. And having Garnacho versus Rashford is another great headache to have. It's not what I want to have, so I don't know who I pick. But I know that's the question you asked me, Jack. But were we in this position last year? Could we say we could have one or the other?
Yeah.
No, we weren't. Gun to my head, I think I'd pick Rashford just for consistency performance, whether that's consistently good or bad. At least you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
The thing about Rashford is if Rashford could get his head up and get his final decision right, Garnacho tonight seemed to have that. He was looking, he had the head up, he was willing to hit the ball, and I think Rashford just edges him for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a dilemma, but I think that Rashford's got a thinner string. You know what I mean? I mean, because now I don't think you're so afraid to pull him off at halftime, 60 minutes.
Off the pitch, everybody. Off the pitch.
That's more Rob Chandy.
But I mean, I don't think, to sub him off, I don't think it would be that big of a deal if he's not putting in the shift. I mean, and that's the biggest thing is. But here's the other thing is we talked about in the last one. Why can't one of those guys play on the right? Like, I mean, honestly, why? I mean, every one of us has played and coaches asked us to play a different position, and you kind of go, come on, okay, fine, because I want to play. Like, I mean, why do you not go to Garnacho and say, hey, can you go play on the right, and then we'll put Rashford on the left and see how that goes? Yeah. Like, just one game, let's try it and see what happens. I mean,
what you guys said as well in the last review I was watching. Could they not be fluid? Could they not start on left and right and just swap over? Yeah. We don't seem to have that. We seem to be the only team in the league that has you're playing left, you're playing right, and you don't move from there. Yeah, I haven't watched many teams this season that are that rigid and stringent to staying in those positions.
I mean, we had that when Jaden played. Jaden used to go float to the left, and Rashford used to float to the right. I mean, let's be honest. We all said the fluidity was nice at that point. So, I mean, why can't we, there must have been something going on with Garnacho in the last couple of games that he hadn't seen the field.
Yeah, or is it maybe Ten Hag trying to protect him and not, put too much pressure on him to be performing week in, week out?
He's a United player now. There's pressure no matter what.
Well, that's true.
I mean, let's not try to coddle a little bit. Let's just, hey, you got your number change. You got, everything that you want. You're in the 18. Let's go. I mean, because at that point, then now you know why you're not bringing anybody on.
Yeah. But Ben, let me go to you on this one. We'll talk about the opposite side. Pellistri, like really good game out of him tonight. Has he done enough to maybe put the doubt into or put the seed into Erik Ten Hag's mind that I'm the man for that right-hand side?
I say he has, but I just don't see him being the man at the minute.
Yeah.
I think, like you say, it's pressure to him. He's still young. Just have him there on the bench. Like tonight, if we're winning 2-3-0, you're going on. First sub.
Yeah. Agreements with that, guys?
I agree because only for the fact that, I mean, he can put in a shift and everything like that, but he needs to produce a little bit. Like, if he's starting to play balls in the Højlund or Martial or Rashford and he's starting to assist and he's starting to do those types of things, then yeah. But if you're just putting in a shift and maintaining the ball and just maintaining, then you're a sub. I mean, then you're someone that, I mean, you're a glorified Dan James at that point. You know, I mean, no offense. I mean, I'm a fake. I mean,
burn.
I mean, I was a Dan James fan because you know what he did when he came on? He gave max effort all the time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if that's all we can ask you to do is put max effort in, then, you know, then, I mean, we need people that are going to produce, you know, chances and goals and, you know, and everything like that. Like,
yeah.
And I know maybe he was robbed of that against Bayern because Alphonso Davies came through him and, you know, on that goal that, he should have scored. But at that time, do you look at him and say, you got to be a little bit bigger and stronger and you got to put that in the back of the net?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Oisin, what's your thoughts on him? Because like I was watching him tonight and I love the positivity from him. I love how he runs at defenders. He's always looking for the ball. But I do agree with Chris that, you know, obviously he's young, he's raw. You know, he needs to start maybe converting some chances or creating some chances. But I don't think he's a million miles away.
He's not. But again, it's going to sound a very boring answer, but I have to agree with Chris. He's not. He's not quite there yet. But as you say, he's not a million miles away. Another couple of games, this is where I would disagree with Chris. A bit of a run in the team, build the confidence. You might see that come out more. You know, it's very hard to get a run when you're starting this game, coming off the bench when you're not getting a full run. I'd like to see him get a run, purely because, and I said this in the chat on the watchdog, I don't see where Mount fits in.
Yeah,
so I would start Pellistri on the right and give him a good run of the games and see then how he's progressing. And if he's not producing by then we know he's a sub to come on and shore things up and give us that solid shift and then go back to Mount there.
You know how he fixed this, though? You know, we're going to have to go to a back three.
Right, Oisin, we'll see you next week.
I mean, think about it, though. I mean, okay, so if Pellistri plays on the right and Rashford and Garnacho switch on the left and Højlund and Martial, I mean, you only have 3 spots in the midfield. And now we've all, and you got Casemiro, Amrabat, Bruno, Mount, you know, Hannibal. I mean, I think Hannibal's put in shifts where I think he needs a run of games too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think what Hannibal, not Hannibal, especially Pellistri, I think what Pellistri needs this season is to have Garnacho's season this year. You know what I mean? If he can be that impact substitute coming off of the bench, you know, chipping in with a couple of important goals. Now, look, you're not going to get the same type of important goals like Garnacho did against Fulham and so on and so forth. But if he can be coming off the bench, chipping in with a few goals, I think, I mean, the one thing I would say is that, and it goes back to what Eric Ten Hag said, was that he made it quite clear that the young lads who will get an opportunity are either going to be good enough or better than lads that are currently in the squad. You know, so he obviously thinks highly of these guys.
To what you just said there, Jack, though, I mean, I don't know if the guys agree, but when you look at Pellistri, do you see Garnacho? I see more of a guy that's going to create the chance than actually that's going to score the chance. Garnacho, to me, is the guy that when he comes on, you're looking for him to put the ball in the back of the net, where I don't get that feeling from Pellistri yet.
Well, it's funny because I seen only on Twitter today a picture of both of them on the way to the game, and Pellistri is just there like that, and Garnacho is there like that. You know, and so Pellistri is the kind of guy that will square the ball to you on the line for a tap in, where Garnacho will go, "Fuck you, I'm scoring this goal." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you need contrast in your team like that, absolutely. You know, and it's great that we're talking about young players coming out of the academy that have it, rather than 70 million on a player coming in that's, you know, doesn't maybe know the culture or, you know, his teammates or so on and so forth. So look, it's a positive thing to be talking about. But look, I suppose I want to talk about maybe a little bit about the defense before we go, because there's 2 clean sheets in a row now. We're getting players back. Varane is the only one actually. But players are getting closer to being back, whoever it may be. But I said it in my match preview. It's important that we do, I suppose, focus on defense more than anything else. Obviously, goals win games, but not conceding stops you losing games. I don't want to get too carried away because it's only 2 games, but have we turned a corner? Oh, I hate using that fucking. That's what took me so long to stay there. I was trying to think of that.
Well, they kept a clean sheet with Harry Maguire, so he must have.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
yeah. But have we turned? Yeah, all right, okay, fuck it, let's use it. Have we turned that corner? Because this time last week or the week before, it was very negative. After the Brighton game and so on and so forth. And wins will give you this confidence and put positivity around the club. But have we turned a corner? Go on, Chris. You're shaking your head.
I don't think so. If we put a clean sheet against Palace on Saturday, then I'll kind of say yeah at that point, because it's a cup game and I don't know how serious. I saw the lineup for Palace and it wasn't. I know they have a lot of injuries too, but it's not like we're playing the cream of the crop right now, because I think if we played someone a little bit more direct, Maguire, I saw some balls that Maguire got played behind and it was pretty bad. He's anytime Maguire's on the field, you just kind of cringe and you're like, come on, please, someone forget that he's there. But, it's just, I think if we put a clean sheet on Saturday against a team that, against the same team, but maybe, Mark Gahey is going to be starting in the back and you're going to have a couple different guys. Itse is going to be up front, and then I'll start to agree with you. But until then, no. It's a good move forward, but it's not around the corner yet.
Yeah. Well, Oisin, I'll go to you on what, because obviously you've missed the last couple, but what do you want to see between now, or what do you want to see, obviously, as an improvement going into the game on the weekend? Obviously, we're getting a little bit of consistency with 2 wins, but obviously a long way to go.
Look, it's a source of a laugh here, really. I'd love to see a settled back four. Yeah. Whatever it is it Reguilon, Dalot, whoever it is, just get a few games with the same back four there. Then we can talk about turning a corner. Again, I can't believe I'm saying this twice into one live, but I agree with Chris again. I don't think we turned the corner, because Burnley on Saturday night were so poor. We didn't have to do a whole lot. And tonight, once we scored, Crystal Palace didn't have any fight in them. How many shots? Did Palace have 4 shots on target in the whole game?
Let me check.
Yeah.
I don't recall. With the commentary I was listening to on the phone and listening to yourself, I don't recall them having a whole lot either on target or just in general.
Yeah, 2 shots on target. Yeah.
And
2 good saves, by the way, out of Onana.
Yeah. But it would be good once, and as Chris says, Palace's team on Saturday are not going to be any relation to what we saw tonight on that pitch. Yeah. So if hopefully Martinez and Reguilon will be fit for Saturday, and we'll be back to our starting back 5, I think. Dalot, Varane, Martinez, and Reguilon, and Onana, and then we'll see how we're looking after that then, I would think.
Let me ask you, before I ask Ben, let me ask you about the midfield, because obviously it seems to be the first area of the pitch now where we nearly have a full, squadron of players back. What way would you go with the midfield? Because obviously we've talked about Casemiro and Amrabat, but is it as straightforward now as straight in the 2 of them and Bruno?
If it was me, yes, but we all know Ten Hag doesn't normally start players until they're there 3 or 4 games, Yeah. So I think we could see Mount, Casemiro, and Bruno is what I think we could see. What I would like to see is Amrabat, Casemiro, and Bruno will be my ideal starting midfield on Saturday.
Yeah, give me yours, Ben.
Yeah, I'd go Amrabat, Casemiro, Bruno.
Yeah.
I was just worried with Lindelof starting at left back, coming on as left back there. Is that a sign that Reguilon's not ready? was like, yeah, I'll go and play there for a bit and see how you get on.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. I think there was a lot of changes tonight were to give lads rests, I think, that are probably coming back from injury more than anything else. But it's good that we have someone like Lindelof that can play at them positions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd never complain about that. But Chris, what would you go with? Obviously, you said you don't know how the likes of Bruno and Mount are going to, play in the same team together. So what would you like to see on Saturday?
I mean, on Saturday, we need points. So I would say that I would say it has to be Amrabat, Casemiro, and Bruno. Because to be honest with you, like you said today, I'd like to see now that Casemiro has the cover of Amrabat, then can he be a number 8 that's going to be moving things forward, playing a little bit more free, playing well, playing like a Brazilian and not just have to be a brick wall in the back. It's an interesting thing. I think Mount will come on in the second half. I don't know if Mount's ready for 90 minutes yet. I think Amrabat's a little bit closer to that. So I would like to see Amrabat, Casemiro, and Bruno and see how that goes. And honestly, I think Mount's going to end up starting on the right if he plays. Yeah. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but and I think you're going to see Rashford and Højlund up top, and I honestly think it's going to morph into like a Ralf Rangnick 4-2-2-2, and you're going to have your wing backs because Reguilon and Delo are going to be going like this. I really think that's what's going to end up happening because I'll be honest, like at the beginning when he did it, you had Rashford and Højlund up top for a brief 20 minutes when we played well in that game. They looked good.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw something like that. But I think you got to give Amrabat and Casemiro a chance together, with Bruno.
Yeah. Well, look, the one thing, and we mentioned it an awful lot last year, was options. And options are returning, which, is not a bad thing at all.
So do you like the idea of keeping Reguilon if he keeps playing well?
I would keep any player that plays well. Any player that wants to play for Manchester United with a bit of hunger and desire, and obviously that has the talent to play, which I think he does.
Yeah.
You don't come up through Real Madrid by being a bad player either. So I'd be all for it. But again, look, it's hard to know whether he would fall into that category of player that as soon as he gets the contract, then does he go, right, fucking happy days, I'm grand here now, that would remain to be seen. But certainly on the back of the few games that he's played, I'd be all for it. So
I don't know on the back of those performances how he was lost at Spurs for so long.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Right, lads, I think we'll leave it there. Better go before I'm divorced. I appreciate you coming on as usual. And as always, guys, please do smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe. If you want to become an official member like the guys and come on screen with us, the link is in the description. Go check it out. What day is today? Today is Tuesday. I'll be back tomorrow night. We'll do our normal United news show tomorrow night from 9 o'clock. Games are coming thick and fast now. Another international break in like 10 days.
Yeah. Seeing your hat's in customs right now.
Which? What?
Your hat's in customs right now.
All right, not the one on my head.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that I sent you.
Cool. Look forward to that.
Absolutely. Make sure you share it. You have to wear it as soon as it arrives on the next live anyway.
I'll wear it on set next time I'm in.
Yeah, happy days. Right, lads, thanks for joining. Appreciate you coming on as always. And everybody else, thanks for watching. And I'll chat to you tomorrow night at 9. Take it easy.
Catch you later.
Be good.